Greetings YouTube. Welcome to another Knife Guy channel. My name is Ashton, and today we're going to be doing a category video. We all love categories. It's early and I have my coffee, and we're going to talk about categories of knives that I carry. It's just my categories, okay? Your categories can be completely different. No problem. But these are mine. Stay tuned. So there's a funny thing about people. Your brain naturally puts things into categories. If yours doesn't, mine certainly does. And that's why I wanted to make this video. My categories, I have written down in my field notes notebook. I have definitely jumped on the bandwagon with these, by the way. They're great. I love these little guys. All right. So, first category, no surprise, it's going to be EDC. EDC. Not the festival. I haven't been, but it could be fun. Everyday carry. It describes a knife that you can carry with you worry-free every day. Simple as that. It fits into your life nicely. You have some criteria that you apply and you go and select and buy the knife that you want to buy. My criteria, they follow a pattern. I have my interests and I know what I like in a quote-unquote EDC knife. Examples of what an everyday carry knife to me is: easy to carry, not too big, not too small. The blade, usually 3.25 to 3.5 inches. You know, you want it to be something that when you're bored or sitting in traffic or, you know, just kind of trying to pass the time and you need something to occupy your hands, it needs to have a nice action, fun to fidget with. It also needs to be fun to use, you know. I mean, your everyday carry knife is going to get used once in a while, and it's got to be something that brings you joy every time it comes out of your pocket. Well, as far as any specific sort of steel requirements, right, for an EDC pocket knife, I would choose more a corrosion resistant steel as far as a perfect EDC. Example here, obviously, would be the Spyderco Spidey Chef. In my opinion, one of the most perfect EDCs you can get, just because of the corrosion resistance alone and the fact that it requires very little maintenance. Are there complaints about this knife? Yes. No steel lock bar insert, and a really funky lanyard hole that I had to, or lanyard hole tube that I had to remove. And some people just don't like the design, but for me, it ticks all the boxes. It's perfect. Another quote-unquote perfect knife for the EDC category would be a recent drop to the masses, would they say? This is currently my favorite pocket knife, and it's going to be really hard to kick this out of my pocket. It is, of course, the Drop X Ferrum Forge X Protec Mordax. Great knife, and 20 CV, especially the way Protec gets it heat treated, comes out to be fantastically corrosion resistant, fun to fidget with, perfect size range, and a very useful and utilitarian blade shape. With that all being said, the EDC category is something that everybody's familiar with, and everybody will have widely varying opinions on what the perfect EDC is. Those are mine. The next category that is also in my wheelhouse would be a hard use, as Kevin, you know, YouTuber Kevin Cleary, go check out his channel, by the way, a hard use emergency or EDC plus type knife. This is something a little beefier, a little bit more robust, something like Spyderco Shaman with a nice thick blade stock. It's hand filling, you know, if you're going to be using it for long periods of time in an outdoor situation or something like that. That's how I imagine it, you know. I like camping, cutting wood with my knives and stuff like that. So if I'm going to be doing feather sticking or carving or any wood processing when I'm camping, I want something that's very comfortable in hand. To go along with that, you also want a robust emergency knife to have a really strong locking mechanism. Compression lock certainly does the trick here. And easy to open and close with one hand. Because if it is in an emergency, you want to be, you know, able to use it in any case you see fit. If you like toughness in steel, that's great. If you like edge, you know, all these statistics don't really mean anything, right? If the steel performs well for you and it doesn't crap out in humidity and you lose all your fine edge retention or whatever, just use it. The next category for me is something that I usually carry. It's a secondary knife, but you could also call it your beater or loaner. So with your beater or loaner, the idea is, most people walk around with a knife in their pocket and they're like, yeah, I keep an extra one in my pocket just in case somebody needs to use it. I don't care about that one getting beat up. And that's part of it. You don't want it to get beat up, but at the same time, you don't want it to be a piece of crap, right? Things simple to operate. It's got a forgiving steel that's easy to sharpen and easy to maintain. And then it's one that if something fatal happened to it, let's say, like, I don't know, broken half or something, it would be one that you wouldn't mind replacing. So something not incredibly expensive or high end. And the last thing is something that'll spread the joy of the knife hobby. It's got to spark some interest in the person that you're handing it to. It's important that they get the same passion that you have for your tools and your items that you carry. It'd be like, man, this is really cool. Even though it's a backlock, even though the common, most of the knife community would say it's not a fidgety thing, people not new to the knife community don't know what fidgety is. And it makes them go, huh, it's interesting. People are very observant. They see something they like. They don't need any more coaching. They'll kind of do it on their own. They'll go down that path. So something compelling and something, as Nick Shabazz would say, something to spread the joy of the knife community. It's a good thing. The next category is also something that we should unpack just a little bit. This is the high-end collector piece, right? These pieces cost a lot of money. I'm going to say 500 and up is a lot of money for anybody. If you don't think it is, then that's fine. If you're going to spend that kind of money on a pocket knife, you have to appreciate that knife, that thing, that object on multiple levels. Again, these are all my opinions. You have to really love the thing. I mean, like I said, multiple levels of appreciation. And it's got to be able to, fuel a passionate and sincere, I guess you could say, rant every time you pull it out and somebody asks a question. It's got to make you excited. Get to know the material science if you're going to spend real money on a knife. And, make sure it's something that you find is absolutely beautiful in design, in materials, in experience when using, or in the process of getting it, made. And then the last thing is with the high-end collector piece, there always comes a day where an emergency pops up, and it's always in the back of your mind, right? You have all these nice knives, and they all have a value. And if you don't tear them up, they usually hold their value pretty well, and you can always let one go. I don't know if that's important to you, but I think for me, one that won't stop you, from living your life or being responsible, in a sense. The fifth category that I have is a little bit, you could put whatever you want in this category. My fifth pocket knife criteria would be it's small, it's easy to carry, and it's got something novel about it. It's fun, like I got that's nice. Love this knife, by the way. To recap, we got the everyday carry knife, like your ProTech Mastrop Farmforge Mordax. We got the hard use emergency category. In my mind, the Shaman is a good example of this. And we got the beater, loaner. Now here's a good one. Gold Seal Code 4. Look for a review coming out very soon, actually, about this knife. And then, you got your high-end collector. So that's 4. And then the fifth category is your fifth pocket, backup knife. At least mine is. So I would really love to hear, what categories you have when you're looking for knives, and if there's something that kind of jumps out at you and it automatically kind of falls into this category. If there's something like that you do, I would really like to hear about it. Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for staying to the end if you did. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Thank you.